This week on the Fit Dads podcast, we're joined by the founders of Redefine. Liz Bamforth and Rebekah Jepson are two trainers, two business owners, and two inspirational mums. They run Redefine, which is a women's-only, results-driven studio in Sheffield in the halfway area. Today, expect to learn all about Liz and Rebekah, why they do what they do, and how Redefine came into being. So welcome to the Fit Dads podcast. Liz and Rebekah.
Thank you, guys.
Right.
Awesome to have you on. Nice to finally meet you. I've been scrolling through your Instagrams frantically over the past few days. But, just before we kind of come onto the air, you guys talking about how the community you've got here is amazing. Obviously, it's all women. Something that we obviously coach women, but not exclusively. So we'd love to pick your brains on like what it is for a woman to be in shape, to get in shape, to, just excel in everything health and fitness basically. So, we want to pick your brains today.
And obviously we are at Redefine, amazing space. So in terms of kicking us off, who would like to go first? Because it's first ever dual guest that we've had, isn't it? So this is going to feel...
It could be interesting then.
Yeah. But no, I mean, obviously for the sake of the listeners as well, I want to give people context about who you are, how you got into the industry, and I suppose what brought us here to Redefine.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll kick off if you like with that one. So I think for me, I didn't get into training until late in life. So I was about 40. I came from a horse background. And then when that ended, I started training. I wanted to do something like the competition. So I started training and then really quickly ditched the career that I had and became a PT. And right from the get-go, I was only interested in training women. Because when I've been training, I actually saw for myself the barriers that were there for women, what I thought for the women being consistently successful. I became a female on a PT, and that really quickly escalated. I got really busy really quickly. Long story short, lockdown came and obviously all the gyms were closed, and I then opened up my own little gym at home. And that's when it really became apparent that there was a need for women to train in quieter places, maybe away from everybody else, because within about 7 months of going at home, I had a waiting list of about 60 people for PTs.
Wow. Nice.
And I thought, I can't get to these people. Added on to boot camp from there. So I started on a field and I didn't want to do it, but there was a real need for a lockdown for people to train together. So me and the dog went and sat on the field, and I thought, if only 5 or 6 people come, it's going to be great. And we sat there and I was really nervous. I was like, Bear, what are we going to do? And I turned around and literally got 55 people on that first day on the field.
Wow.
And that carried on.
Amazing.
And like I said, from there, it became apparent there was a real need for women to train together, supportive. The community grew. And I thought this needs to be a bit bigger, and reached out to Rebekah at that point, who I'd known from the gym we both trained at, knew she trained and worked how I liked it, just from, we didn't really know each other at all then, but I also knew she got a nutrition background. I reached out to Rebekah from there, and the first stage of Redefine became born from your idea, from what you wanted to do as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Redefine, the actual branding, was something that I kind of in the background started, and when Liz approached, it just fit perfectly with kind of what I was, the thoughts I had as well. So
amazing. It's like a match made in heaven, really.
It could have been a disaster.
Everything can be a disaster if you're not invested, but you guys have clearly got a passion for it. One question I've got for you, Liz, is what was it at age 40 that made you think, right, I need to turn things around, I want to really commit myself to getting in shape and being healthy?
I always was. I was always athletic, so I always came from a sporty background. Cool. But like I said, I competed on the horses for years, and then when I lost the horse that I competed, I signed up for a 100-mile bike ride for when Mum had had cancer a couple of times, and I just thought I wanted to do something. I was always a bit of an adrenaline junkie, and I thought, right, let's just do something. Brilliant. And I thought, shit, I've not been on the bike for years. So I actually joined a local gym and went in and enlisted the help of a trainer there.
Awesome.
And basically, I just loved it. Just really developed a passion for it and loved and enjoyed it right from the off.
Yeah.
But like I said, I did see a gap in the market. And it's paid off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I have to admit, it's amazing to see, like, anyone who follows both of you on Instagram or Redefine, it's amazing to see, like, there's always, it's always really busy. Girls are, bantering each other, and you girls are so supportive, which is nice to see. Like, I've known Rebekah for quite a long time. We go way back from our days at EIS. But talk us through, I suppose, what you've been up to since the EIS days, Rebekah.
So while I was working at EIS, I did a degree in public health nutrition. So I did a little bit of PTing when I left at Virgin Active. And I actually decided that I wanted to move into public health for a little bit and experience a different industry to the fitness industry. So I went into nutrition diabetes management. And I absolutely loved my job. I did it both face to face, and then obviously it went online after lockdown. So that impacted the role massively. And after years and years, and this is just my experience of it, I was teaching nutrition that I didn't really believe was the right thing to be teaching. I don't think the NHS guidelines are always applicable for a lot of the population. I mean, the average population, who is the average person. And so I felt like it was time for me to move back into a bit more of the fitness industry. And it just literally perfectly coincided with Liz approaching me. And I'd already got the kind of the bandwagon going in the background for myself. But it was an opportunity then to link it up with training. And that's why.
I think if we thought what we looked at, obviously, like I said, I found my clients were getting more confident training in my gym at home, away from prying eyes, away from, anybody else looking. And I'd also then started training in different gyms, and I was really, I thought women were being so undersold. So you were expecting there were women's areas in gyms where you walk through a crowded gym, which straight away I would put a lot of women off straight away, to go into a tiny corner that was behind some wood with some pink dumbbells and a broken cable. That's really letting women down. It's doing women a massive injustice. This can't continue. And I actually went in and spoke to a few women in there. It's like, why are you in here? And they just the confidence. They didn't want to be around. They didn't know what they were doing. I also found another big part of why we wanted to go down this route was I'd be in gyms, and there's some great PTs out there, male and female. However, I'd watch women being coached for an hour once a week and doing a great session. Then that's all they do, because they didn't have the confidence, and they just didn't want to do it on their own. So they were paying X amount of pounds to do that and have a plan written for them that they were never going to do. So then straight away they felt like failures. And we were just, for me, the industry was just setting them up to fail time and again. Whereas obviously now there were two main points here. One, this is not about not training where there's men, but it's training where there's women. Community women who understand you. You can come in, you might be having a bad day, and friendships are formed, and they're working with each other. And women like to train us in groups. And that's a massive part of this place. So we were making sure we wanted to make it purse friendly, where women could come in and, in an ideal world, train 2, 3 times, 4 times a week and be coached, but do it where they weren't being charged a stupid amount of money to do it, because we were putting them in the group, so it paid for both of us.
Amazing.
Nice.
And it works.
I'm really glad you said that, because when I had a look on your website, you're really transparent with your pricing, which shocked me, because I know a lot of people aren't, or a lot of studios aren't. It's like, inquire for this, myself included, because I sort of tailor things. But when you've got such a strong product like what you've got, and you know what you're selling, I really like that. I really like how transparent you are.
Absolutely.
I suppose another question for Rebekah on my side is what made you agree to Liz's offer, or were there any apprehensions when you were like,
I'll be on back?
No, I mean, it was, if I'm honest, it was a great opportunity for me, because I'd come from a public health background. So I had no following. I had nowhere to start, and I was going to have to build it from scratch, which, don't get me wrong, I'm happy for hard work. So I would have looked forward to that in some aspects, but she was giving me the opportunity to start something I absolutely love and already have that network to go with. So no apprehension really. And we knew each other from the gym. I saw how well, I mean, if you meet Liz, she can speak to anyone and everyone. So go to the petrol station and be like, oh yeah, we've got a female on the gym, you should come have a free class.
We're always doing it.
I knew it would work. I knew it would. She built something from nothing in a very short period of time. And for me, I wanted to get the nutrition side of things. This is no offense to any coaches out there, but I feel like the nutrition side of thing in the PT industry is very
polluted.
Yeah, it is polluted. That's the perfect word. I mean, a woman with 2 kids running a household ain't going to be able to fit in 6 small meals a day that's structured to this and this. And I do think that still happens out there. I'll give you an 8-week shred, and this is exactly what you have to do. And I don't think anybody's life that is busy and manic, that's not going to work for everyone. So we wanted to give it more of a, here's the tools to go away and write your own diet plan, but this is what you need to be doing. And that's where the workshop came from. So now we do a challenge. We get the girls to come to a 3-hour workshop, and we've tried a lot of different ways of doing it as well, haven't we, before? But now it's 3-hour workshop. They get a lot of supporting tools after it, but we find it works so well because then people do with that workshop what works for them.
Yeah, and they also, another massive passion of ours is they take that into the family, which is like huge. And we had a lady attend our last one, and basically she has sorted her husband's stomach problems out by following, the whole family have now joined in on that. These kids have also, these people have also got children watching. So we're going to have another client who basically sat down with her daughter after attending one, and her daughter said to her, "Mummy, you're eating a sandwich." Now that absolutely broke my heart, because these little kids are looking up at you, and her mum was told, you can't have carbs, you can't have this. That is not acceptable in our language. It's just not. So now her daughter, they'll sit and they'll have family meals together, and that is what every bit of this is worth for us. We're knackered, we're skinning a lot of the time because we're still building up into this. However, that to me, if we can have a whole generation of little girls and little boys who can learn from mum and dad, that if that's our legacy, then I'll take that tomorrow.
100%.
No.
Just touch on what you said a minute ago about the community and women feeling like more like that's kind of who they want to be around. And I'm not sure about you, Brad, but I've always found that with the girls I coach, they enjoy classes.
Absolutely.
They enjoy giving it to friends. I've had girls who've actively said to me, have you got anyone else I can train with? Do you know anyone else? Have you got any clients I can go to the gym with? Because I actually want that community that women crave that. Whereas I think men are a bit different in that they're happy to just go by themselves, get their head down, just isolate a little bit.
Agreed.
They're okay with that, but I think having that real insight from an early point in your business was really good of you to see that gap in the market. Like, women aren't being supported, they've not got the tools, they've not got the community. How can I provide that? And that's such a really good foresight, and it's obviously why you've done great things here for sure.
I wanted to provide everything that I needed.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we've done. I mean, we've seen friendships being formed in this place. I mean, community can be banded around quite a lot, can't it? However, when you look, and we took 35 people to climb Snowdon, we took another 35 to do Scarfell. And then in a few weeks' time, we're going to take another 30 odd to take 8 hours to go up to do Nevis.
That must be quite daunting with 35 women. Glutes and all the business.
And it is, I mean, we do the socials that we do, and we've also had people in here that are now friends that now do their own things, and we've got 2 of our members that are out today walking. Brilliant. So it's not just about us, it's about us providing that place where women can connect on whatever level they want to connect on. Some don't, some can just do the training and they go again. But, a lot really do.
And you're absolutely right. Women control the household as well, and the food.
Absolutely.
And the complete stark contrast to that, I've had blokes who've rang me up and said, I don't get the food, but my missus is on the line. We speak to my missus about the food.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm like, right, okay. So I'm on the phone now speaking to his missus about how the food's prepared and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's, you're absolutely right. If you can push that message onto girls, mums, that filters down through the family. 100%. Everyone immediately around them starts eating better. And most blokes are happy to eat whatever the missus is cooking.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? If that's health and stuff, then, fair play.
The nutrition workshops are a huge, huge part of it. They really are. I mean, anybody can come and train an hour a day, but the other 23 hours, as you know, need controlling a little bit. But when we say controlling, it's we want to take away like Rebekah said, we give you tools to do it as opposed to spoon feeding you, because we want to give you the tools for life. You know, we don't want you to think, I can't go out and have a meal with family. We don't want you to think we can't go on holiday, enjoy ourselves. That's just setting people up to fail. No one wants to live on chicken and rice forever. You know?
It's got to be realistic for people.
And it is. And the results that we get are testament to that.
It's funny because we actually interviewed an Olympic level nutritionist last week, and we talked all about kind of kids nutrition, parents nutrition. And one thing I'm really seeing amongst the people that we, get around the interview is that the people who are doing really well get that message. They understand it.
Absolutely.
They're not
exactly
preaching
right.
like, I don't want to, throw shade in them, but like the bodybuilding style of eating, like 6 meals a day with quite strict Tupperware boxes. It has to be loose, it has to be flexible, but it has to be informed, and they have to understand what they're having at all times and have that real balance. And you can get in great shape, you can perform really well with that balance. It just has to be something that you're aware of, understand, and are implementing at all times.
And that's what it is. I mean, we always have a joke, and again, no shade, but I would really like a lot of when people do a challenge or, they get the results that they want, I'd like to revisit them in 6 months' time and see where they are.
When they get super shredded.
Absolutely, because,
And these transformations should come with like blood tests as well.
Absolutely.
It's the hormonal system, how they feeling as a person, their general well-being, because I guarantee those things aren't 100%.
No.
Yeah. In terms of the contact, mutual contact of mine and your girls as well, Beth, who sort of got us in contact.
Yeah.
She said to me that you girls just get it. And that's really powerful for us to hear, because like me and Ryan are always on the hunt for like, okay, we want to talk to people who are in the weeds of it. Like, what can we do to be better? Like Rebekah mentioned about more people, like more PTs and coaches, maybe having a different approach. Like, what can me and Ryan take away and do? Amplify, if that makes sense. So what can we take from you girls to give to our female clients?
Yeah, I mean, I feel that I do think, obviously, life experience massively helps. I mean, obviously, Rebekah has just become a new mom. So
congratulations.
Thank you. Like my children are older now, so I've sort of done that bit and moved on from it. But I think from your point of view, it's been massively eye-opening.
Oh God, yeah.
From having a little one, hasn't it? And I think that's only going to enhance. We just want to keep it real. That's the bottom line. And again, you can spout that. Sometimes we maybe keep it a bit too real.
I don't think I would have understood how hard it is to juggle everything until I was in that scenario. And actually, everything that I've preached for the past few years, doing Redefine, is the reality of what most busy moms are facing, and it fits and it is right, and I've experienced it now. It is difficult, so I would never. I've done the whole prep. I'm not even going to lie. I've done the 6 meals a day in a Tupperware box, made myself miserable. I think we're all probably guilty of doing it, and I would not be able to do that with a 15-week-old.
And you don't need to.
No.
That's
you don't need to. Yeah, absolutely not. I weren't in any better shape then, and I certainly weren't mentally in a better shape then when I were doing it. So
I know this is one question that maybe Ryan's got, so I'm sorry to steal your thunder here, mate. A little bit about like the postnatal side of things. So prenatal's one thing, but for someone like yourself, Rebekah, who's just had a child, all right, what are you looking for? So for example, you get someone walking right now and they say, I'm 16 weeks postpartum, I think I'm ready to train again. What are we saying to them?
Oh, like I would absolutely encourage someone to step back in the gym, obviously, if they're physically ready to do it. I would encourage it. I think it was absolutely the best thing for me. And I did come back to the gym a little bit sooner than what probably I would allow somebody to come in. But as coaches, you don't know what that other person, they'll tell you they're all right, but they're gauging that, you're not gauging it. I'm gauging my own myself. So I came back a little bit sooner, but from a mental health point of view, I needed to, because I felt like really hard. Anyone that says it isn't, I'm always shocked. Like, but I found it really difficult, and I found training helped the mental health side of it more than the physical side of it, to be honest. I won't lie, I had an emergency section, so my body changed a lot after, and that was my biggest driving force to come back there. And I think if I'd have not, I'd have been in a really, really bad place, actually.
I think it's safe to say, I think you are a woman who's still struggling with body, not struggling with body image, but so hard when you see what your body goes through. And how much it changes and how your strength drops. And
it must be quite scary, that, because you've worked so many years to get to a spot where you're quite happy, and then it's kind of ripped from underneath you in one moment.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
I can see, like, a lot of the girls I've coached post-natal have all come in and said, I'm ready now, I want to get back, I don't want to waste any more time, I just want that body back. And then there's that fear that the longer you leave it, actually the worse it could get.
Absolutely.
And I've had a girl, a good few years ago now, come in, and she had a huge hernia that had developed over time because she just hadn't give her body the time and attention that it needed post C-section. And it just got really out of control. And it really proved to me that actually it's so important, if you've got to have something like a hernia especially, to start working on that core. There's a fear around making it worse, and you should definitely get some guidance on that for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's really important you get back into it and you just start those cogs turning immediately, I think.
I think it's all about making somebody comfortable as well in that, and making, if you come back in, you're not going to go back to where you were. We are going to make sure that you go right back down to basics and build up from the off. I mean, you might have a weak pelvic floor, so it doesn't matter the conversations that go on here sometimes. Like, in fact, I used with some guys in the next door unit, and sometimes they come out and be like, what have they heard? Like, with the things up, but it's just a safe place here to be able, we say there's no such thing as a stupid question. There actually is, and we've heard a lot of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like we touched on earlier before we were filming. We just want to make everybody feel really comfortable about the body at different shapes and sizes. There's girls that come in here and they train in little shorts and bra tops, and they admit they would never ever go anywhere and feel comfortable like that. But in here, it's a safe space to do it, and it's for us. That's just incredible. It really is.
I think girls care less what other girls think and more about how guys are judging them, I think. I really like that, and the fact that they can ask questions and not feel stupid because they've got other girls who are maybe asking a question that they had thought of but didn't have the confidence to ask. Everything's just kind of answered here, which is great.
Yeah. Oh, when I stepped back onto the gym floor to be a PT again, and I started training like postnatal mums, I was really shocked how open they were.
Absolutely.
I agree with that.
Yeah, to the point where people said, I don't think I could ever leave you as a PT because you're okay. Which I always use this as a joke, but the amount of times that I've had conversations with women who are dead open who talk about literally poo and periods. I've spent hours talking about that, which is amazing, because if it's a problem and you want to talk about it, I imagine that conversation might be, a bit more, not receptive, but probably might find it a bit more empowering with someone who's been through it, or
absolutely get it.
I honestly think they just want to get it off the chest half the time.
100%.
That's what's nice about the environment here, is that you can and will talk about anything, and I do also think there's a massive pressure to get back to exercise after having a baby, and sometimes I think it's negative as well, and I think social media is absolutely fantastic and has its place, but sometimes it's actually so detrimental, and it had a massive impact on me, and it's why now I'm not a social media person. Liz is fantastic at it. She does a lot of the Redefine stuff because it's just not me. I've never been. I don't share any of my personal stuff, or very little, but I have actually started to be a bit more open, because when I fell pregnant, I was so excited. I was like, I can't wait to share my journey. I really want to go through what we can and can't do some videos, all of this. I'm so excited to be able to share the coaching techniques that I'm going to do. I'm adapting the exercises throughout. And then 20 weeks came, I got placenta previa, SPD, and then I couldn't train. 20 weeks into my pregnancy, and I'd got 20 weeks left. And the only thing he said to me, you can swim. And I was like, wow, that is like, you may as well punch me in the face. I don't like swimming. And then all 20 weeks, all what I had was I'm 38 weeks pregnant, still doing 4 runs and 4 sessions a week and and I thought, wow, what a way to make the people that can't do it feel good about it. So I think there's a place for it, and I think coaching and letting people know the do's and don'ts, I think all that's fantastic, but I think we also need to stop. It's almost like a little bit shaming without meaning to, but there is a lot of people out there that won't be able to train through pregnancy. And then I also felt a massive pressure then, because I thought, God, I hadn't trained for 20 weeks. So I went back 4 weeks, which was too early, and I thought I could probably be causing. So I do think there's an added pressure that shouldn't be there as well. I mean, this #mumbod, and she's got a 6-pack, and I think that's not helping anyone. So I think there is a place, and I think we should encourage it. And I love all the positive, but I think we do have to be a little bit cautious about also the pressure it puts on people to get back as well.
So it's tricky, isn't it? Because I think some women might see that and they're pregnant and they might be inspired by it. They're like, oh, I've got she's 34 weeks, I'm only 20, maybe I should get out and do something.
Yeah.
But it could also go the other way. I think it's difficult when you're in a tough spot, and social media can often be a place you want to avoid in certain times, because it can just reinforce something that you're not happy with, and sometimes you only see the bad then, don't you? You're just taking like, oh, it's actually really, maybe it is a nice message, but I've just seen the fact that I can't train, and that's all you take.
It's getting that balance.
You need to know when to like be on social media with off it and what's triggering you. And I mean that mute button's fantastic, isn't it?
It's amazing. Yeah,
we would just like to provide a place where people could come and ask us, members or not, come and see us, come and drop in and see us. We do have people drop in and see us, don't we? And they might come back 3 or 4 times before they decide to go, do you know what, I'm actually, going to go there. But yeah, the doors are always open. I mean, we get so many messages on social media. It's a full-time job. And again, we're never going to ignore anybody, because you never know that person, they might message us 5 or 6 times. And sometimes people are like, 10 o'clock at night, I'm done. However, we've got to get back to these people. Because one day they are going to, they might.
It's awesome that. And like what we were speaking about before we started was the fact that you got into this because you care and you relate, and you don't want anyone to feel like they can't seek out that advice, and if you're the person they go to, then so be it. I'm gonna do it, and it just shows how much you care. The fact that you're going to bed at 10 p.m.
honestly,
and you're willing to message them back.
And then it might be 5 a.m. But we coined a phrase when we first started. We wanted Redefine to be a place where no woman felt left behind, and I think that we stand by that.
Yeah, amazing.
We like you said, we spoke earlier about the sessions, and I think we are renowned for being quite. We have a laugh in the sessions, and we can be quite. Brutal. However, if people come in and know that we are going to have a laugh and we are going to take the mick, like I said before to you guys, nobody's scared of making mistakes. Just try it. Just try it. Yes, we will rip the piss out of you sometimes. We will have fun, but it's all from the best place. And you know what? We will stick with you until you get it. And we will make you feel like like you're 10 foot tall, because you are going to get it. And we're going to celebrate with you. We're going to be there when you drop the ball too. But we are going to make sure that we all succeed together. And that might sound corny as hell, but I don't care.
No? Yeah. I suppose it develops that thick skin as well, doesn't it? I think if you're tiptoeing around people all the time, second they come into any adversity, you're like...
Absolutely. Life's cool.
Yeah.
And you know what? We will do what we can to build you up and make you believe you can. But you're not always going to be able to, because life's not like that.
And it breaks the ice as well. I think it's quite an awkward place for people who aren't into exercise and don't get in the gym.
Absolutely.
If you're in there kind of breaking the ice immediately, just ripping into people a little bit, or the banter,
absolutely
fun.
Yeah.
Someone comes in and goes, "Oh, it's not as serious as I thought this." It is quite a bit like, it's quite light-hearted.
It's not serious. Maybe we need to be a bit more serious. Maybe.
Let the members decide.
Yeah, absolutely. But they keep coming back, they're paying for it. So.
Awesome.
You got more questions for the girls, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just sticking with the pregnancy side of things, we've done post-natal. How would you approach it prenatal? What would you be doing in terms of like advice for people who maybe weren't in your situation, who could train? Up until what point would you recommend they train, and what types of things would you recommend they do?
I personally think you train from, and as long as you can train for, absolutely, as long as you're making all the adaptations that you need to. And there is a lot, and it goes with the Oh my God, trimesters.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago and I forgot already.
Baby brain.
Yeah, that's a real thing, by the way. Genuinely.
So is Rebekah brain.
Yeah. So you would just adjust your training throughout the trimesters, and I think go as long as you can. And I think most women can go. I mean,
we've had ladies in the past up to 37, 38 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow. And then they've been back at like 6, 7 weeks old. Yeah. We've just adapted it because I think that's the beauty of this place, because we know everybody well and we get that relationship with them. We know what they're capable of before they are pregnant and maybe when they are. But yeah, we've taken people right the way through, haven't we?
Yeah. I would be very cautious of, if somebody's not trained before, I probably wouldn't recommend coming in and doing weight training if you're 12 weeks in. I would be and you're completely new to training, I'd be really cautious about what I'd advise then. Probably not the classes, just probably some really light form of training, but I'd still obviously encourage it,
I think it's brilliant advice, that absolutely spot on. I couldn't agree with that anymore. It's the advice I give to my clients. I think it's also how you feel and what you feel comfortable with. Some women, when they get pregnant, I had one lady who had a few miscarriages and she just felt like, this is my chance now, it's an opportunity. I don't want to do anything to jeopardise that. And she took the role of and she definitely could have trained. She was a phenomenally well-trained person, but she just felt, I don't want to do anything to risk that.
Yeah, 100% agree with that.
I think in that scenario, the right decision to make.
Yeah.
But I do think that most women can do more than they think they can during pregnancy. That's a big thing as well. I think as coaches, if you know that person, you can give informed advice on what they can do. But it's a lot of personal preference.
It is, and it's a lot of trust. Like we are aware that people do come in and trust us, so we can't ever abuse that situation.
For sure. And there's a lot of their health and their baby's health is potentially in our advice as well. So you have to be very cautious about what you recommend they do. But I'm still always surprised by some ladies who, like you said, are still training at 36, 37 weeks, and
it is fantastic to see.
There's a big movement for that now. I think you see it a lot more online.
Absolutely.
I see a lot of these CrossFitters who are like big baby bulkies.
Absolutely.
Fair play.
We just go sumo instead.
I mean, I think I was still deadlifting. I mean, I've always lifted heavy, but I was doing 18 weeks and I was still doing 120 kg and it weren't an issue at all. Wow. So I do think you can continue, and it was just unfortunate for me.
In each individual, I think we'd probably say.
Absolutely.
And I guarantee that you're not chasing any PBs during that process, if you know what I mean.
You've got to be
growing a person.
Absolutely, 100%.
It's insane how exhausting them first few weeks are. So in your head, you're like, I'm going to train, and then you're like, wow, I'm so tired. So it is hard as well, but it gets easier the further you get along, funnily enough. So
from a training perspective, is there any questions that you wish your members would ask you more? I realise that's a massive one to spring on you, but I guarantee you get some common questions and you're like, I wish you'd just ask. I wish more people would ask me this question because more people need to hear it. I know that's a bit of a one to spring on you, but...
Do you know what? I don't think so.
That's fine. People are dead honest and open already.
I think because a lot of our members do a lot of the questions that we find are all around nutrition. So I think because a lot of our members do the workshops and they get that foundation from the off, and I think also because obviously a lot of them do. I think the more touch points you have with clients, the better. And because we see ours, the majority at least 3 times a week, and 15 minutes before the class, they'll all congregate in here. We can't get rid of them after, and they'll pick our brains then, and it's. I think because we are approachable and people aren't afraid to ask.
I think that's testament to you as well. Like, I'm cautious how thought-provoking that question is. But
I'm
if you
literally still thinking about.
But then you think because you don't get that, you probably cover all your bases in these workshops, which probably answers a lot of people's questions before they happen.
And we also, in between, obviously when we're coaching, we're all very aware that we don't like to call our group coaching sessions, classes, they are group coaching. So between them, when you are having a bit of a breather or whatever, we do use that time to educate as well. So we might see an exercise that's been in a group session and it's like, God, that was diabolical for most of you. So we'll take a few minutes to go over that. We're really passionate about sharing expertise and not keeping hold of things. And
I love that. I've always said, actually, if I was ever to do something similar and coach in a group scenario, it would be that. It would be coaching to those people. It's not just turn to a session and you do it how you want and I'll just be here to facilitate it. It's like, that's only going to get you so far. They're only going to improve so much with that mindset, and the coach needs to drive that aspect, the coaching aspect of it. So it's really refreshing, I think, to hear you guys driving that, instilling it in your members, and the fact that they haven't got any questions they'd rather be asked. I think, again, it's a testament to you guys.
I think the idea of the group training sessions was so these women that had never stepped foot in a gym before absolutely hate the idea of training. Cardio queens, most of them never stepped foot, never lifted never stepped foot in that area of the gym, never lifted a dumbbell, will transition from these into that side. So we do try and talk through why. What we do as well, we have a board in there with a weekly workout that they can follow, so that they've got some idea of what they're doing in there, because they know the exercises now, they're learning them, but they don't know the principle of putting a session together. So we try and do that as well.
Yeah, one of the big aims was I never wanted to see anybody of our people walk in here and not know what they were doing. So like I said, there's a monthly workout on the board, but at the back of the gym also, there are full body sessions and upper and lower. So our ladies can come in, they might do 2 sessions, and they'll say, right, what should I have my third one to do this week? And we provide it. No extra cost, it's just all part of the membership. Because there's nothing worse than seeing a woman come in the gym and walking around looking really nervous, then shooting up the cardio and going. That used to break my heart. So we'll provide that, We're both that busy with PTs. It's not about, you're doing yourself out of money. It's not about that. It's really not.
And that's when a client comes to you or someone comes to the group coaching and they feel like they're getting more than the service is being provided. That's amazing for keeping them invested and recommending it to people. Like it is about, coaching is about going above and beyond.
Absolutely.
I think that is very much lost in today's world 100%. Where people want to give the minimum amount for the maximum amount of money. I think you guys have really... You get it, basically. You understand that the more value you provide, the better your business will grow.
And don't get me wrong, we've had a few, not many, but we've had a few girls that came in here and we both coached a couple of them, and then they've actually gone on to other gyms where they're now that confident and happy that they are going to go. They want a bit more kit, they want a bigger space, and that again is a success for us. We're not going to do that. You go where you want to go, and we've seen them really move on, and it's great to watch.
Love that. Absolutely love that. Just going back to the balanced lives thing, we spoke a little bit about kind of, how you've got a real message around that for everyday people. I did have a little cheeky scroll through your Instagrams, and you guys live very balanced lives by those things. Honestly, it's great to see. I'm so happy that coaches are putting it out there and being real with it, being so totally real. So if someone was wanting to do the same thing, how would they go about, enjoying themselves, but also getting in shape? What would be the approach they take?
Over to you, that really, I suppose.
When we do the nutrition workshop, we do, I don't know, you guys might have the same approach, but we do talk about banking calories and making things more realistic to life. So they'll have a set amount of calories per day. They save 100, 200 calories over a couple of the days in the week and reserve them for the weekend. So then if they're going to a wedding or doing whatever they might be doing, they've got that little bit of room for error, or not error, but room for a bit more balance, and they can still do everything they want to do, but still be tracking it and hitting the goals.
I've always pushed the 80-20 rule. Yeah. Always. And that's, I live by that myself. Who wants to be miserable for 8 months out of the year? It just doesn't work. And I would never ever encourage a client not to go and enjoy a birthday meal, not to go out at a weekend, because life's too short. And for me, that's a tragedy. However, what they've got to realise is, if you do want to get in shape, if you do want to hit some goals, someone has to give. So you can't eat like a knobhead like 8% of the time and be good 20% of the time.
That's our
don't eat like a knobhead.
Slogan, title of the episode.
Absolutely, this is a podcast. Don't be a knobhead. But I do feel like there's certain things. I think in this day and age, people don't always want to make sacrifice. And unfortunately, life's not like that. It doesn't work like that. So, I think people have got used to saying, I'm a little bit hungry, I'm going to eat. Whereas we go, right, do you know what? If you want to hit that, then if you want to go on your holiday and you want to feel a little bit better, or you want to live a life that's not completely restricted, there are going to have to be some restrictions. People are lying if they tell you no restrictions. That's bullshit. It's not real. So I think for me, the 80-20 rule is a thing that I like to stick to.
I think it's great advice. Really good advice.
100%.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about your community quite a lot. How do you think your community would describe you two, or redefine as a message? What do you think they'd say?
Oh, God.
Is it pretty aligned with maybe where you'd like it to be, do you think?
I think so, yeah. I actually do. I think what you see is what you get is probably really, really
that
true.
Would be bang on,
isn't it? I know somebody came the other day and said, they're actually not that scary. I was like, yeah, we're really not. But I think because our members are so used to us just saying it how it is, that's probably fine.
Yeah.
What you see is what you get. Yeah. We don't know how to be anything else other than us. And sometimes that might come across as maybe quite harsh, and we're quite aware if we get new...
We are very banterous, and I think we have to tone it down. When we get new ladies come in, they get to know us, and then they're like, absolutely. Oh yeah, but we do have to be a little bit more toned down at times.
There was a lady who came in from another place, and she walked in, and I was doing the class, and she walked in and she went in her bag, and she proceeded to put weight training gloves on. So I was like, not today. And
then she waited until a second class and then said, you can't wear them in here.
I can't hold it anymore. They are not good. I was just like, my fingers hurt. Have you ever seen a monkey in the wild wear weight training gloves? No. Get them off, put them outside, leave them there. But it was just... and she's still coming back.
There we go.
She literally looked at me and went,
not the first session. So it's just people know, and now the members say if anybody puts them on, they'll not have that.
You can't buy gloves in here.
I think when the community sort of polices itself, Liz won't stand for
absolutely,
that.
So just little things like that, but that's what makes it what it is. And you know what? It's not going to suit everybody.
But you find your niche there, you find the clients that get it, and actually you want to coach people also that are coachable.
Completely.
If someone's quite set in their ways and they come in, they go, that's quite abrupt, I really want to wear my gloves. I'm not going to come back.
Absolutely.
Probably not someone that you're going to coach and not going to get on with. You want someone you can mould and influence and actually discuss and have an open conversation with as to why maybe they aren't the right thing.
Absolutely. And we're not always right about everything. We're always open to it. And then you can go.
Yeah, I think we spoke about this before we started, didn't we? Like when you first get microphone in front of your face, there is a little bit of uptightness there, and you think, but all of a sudden with however long it is now into it, and you seem to relax a little bit. And I think it's very hard to have a mask on for a long period of time. So it's nice to be yourself, I think.
In this industry, if you're not yourself, you are going to get found out at some point. Mm-hmm.
And it's an industry where personality matters. You're coaching people, they're looking for influential figures, people they can draw influence from. And if that personality isn't there and you're not a character, I think, again, they're the people I've seen in the industry probably not survive as well. Because, I know people who are have amazing personalities. Coaching is okay, but the businesses are thriving 100%. Because they're invested
people
in the
buy
coach.
From people,
yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
I try and say this a lot, but I train PTs to be PTs, and part of the job is personal and training. Somebody could be the best trainer in the world, but if you've got no personality,
absolutely,
you can't connect. Yeah. The person with the personality, the trainer with the personality is probably always going to outperform
100%.
Because people buy into them. And you can see that with you two girls. You're obviously fantastic trainers, but you've got that about you, you get it. Yeah. And I love that.
And good coaches aren't here to be yes men. They're not here to say, yeah, you're okay, that's fine. No. They're here to put the foot down and draw the line. And people really, they know they need that. Every client you coach, and teach, they know they need that hard line. Sometimes they don't want to hear it, and it comes at a wrong time when they want to just have a bit of a week off or a day off. But sometimes, again, they're not paying for your service to stay the same. Yeah. They're paying for your service to change, and that's where you've got to draw the line.
Yeah.
What would you say most women need to know about weight training? Not necessarily want to know, but what do you think they need to know about weight training?
It won't make you muscly overnight.
Oh God,
You're not going to get too big.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And we've both had people come at some point in our career and say, I want to lift weights, but I don't particularly want to look like you. That's fine. I've spent 10 years trying to get bigger. It's not going to happen overnight. So I think that's the biggest thing. Don't be scared of lifting heavy. And I mean, our girls, the weights that our girls lift in some of these group sessions are absolutely phenomenal. It really is. And we're so proud of that fact.
Yeah.
I think they do need to know what benefits, especially menopause, like coming into menopause, perimenopausal, the benefits of weight training just outshines. Obviously, cardiovascular has a place. It's great for you, but that in conjunction with resistance weight training is going to have such a massive impact on all your markers for perimenopause.
And also, protein powder isn't just for bodybuilders. Do you have protein powder? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So
another favourite. Oh, Monsters are terrible.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It comes up in every single nutrition.
Why are you drinking that? Like you're drinking a bottle of vodka at like 10 in the morning.
So disclaimer, we've all smashed a can of Monster before we started, didn't we?
I don't know whether I've actually stopped up to get one.
You don't survive in this industry without it, do you? But I think we try and explain it to women. We try and simplify it and say, weight training will give you your shape and your nutrition will give you your size.
Love that. Yeah, I like that approach.
Yeah.
That's cool. The best way of explaining it.
Yeah, I agree. Sure. Is there any questions that you've probably got for me and Ryan? Because I think the thing with you girls maybe working in the studio is, and I found this when I was working in the studio, where you don't really get that exposure to the wider PT world, apart from what you see online. Obviously, me and Ryan have got his own businesses as PTs. Is there anything that you'd like to ask us? Anything that you want us to do more with our girls?
How do you find training women compared to training men?
Literally.
Good point, Ryan.
Well, difficult. No, it's completely different. There's a lot of things that have resonated in what you've said about the community aspect and certain requirements. And I think for me, it's interesting because I've probably learned on the job with a lot more of the women that I've coached, where you deal with certain situations, whether it is pregnancy or times of the month, and it challenges you as a coach to go and learn more. And I think a lot of my experience has come from exactly that. Someone mentioned something, and as you girls know firsthand, everyone's time of the month is different as well, and you have to be able to adapt the training, you have to be able to adapt the nutrition, and the kind of the constraints on someone's diet as well during those times. Whereas men, to a certain degree, it rolls week to week, month to month. But I think to a certain degree, we're all human beings and we all have varied ways of being coached. So I think you have to cater to everyone. You can't just know men or just know women. I think if you're going to do both, you have to be able to understand both. And they are two very separate entities for sure.
I'm convinced that women have a completely broader scope of emotions than what men do. I'm convinced.
Absolutely.
Convinced. Because men, like you said, they seem to be such simple beasts where I'm either hungry or I'm this. Whereas women, I think it's such a superpower to be able to see maybe things that we can't see. And I think we do complement each other really well. That's why strong partnerships and relationships do go hand in hand. Which, do you find that a lot with your girls? Like, is there ever any struggles with relationships that you girls have to almost play counsellor a little bit? And you're like, well, let's maybe do this.
Regularly.
You are.
I do a lot more. I do,
She may as well be a counsellor at times. I always...
but we are very much aware of not stepping into the mental health space. Obviously training is massively important for us, to manage mental health, to manage stress levels. However, although, as a coach, you hear things that you might always not want to hear sometimes. However, we're really, really careful not to step on toes we stay in our lane, but we help.
I think the whole concept helps.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I'm a big firm believer in that's the that's a whole different role in itself. And they are specialists in that area. Unless I was going to spend whatever 3 years, I'm far more beyond experience in that area. I'd feel comfortable doing it. But for me as a coach, I step away from that completely. And it only because it's from a safety perspective for me. Like, you don't know. And this is, I think, because we have had one lady, mum here, not knowing she'd got previous mental health conditions she didn't know. And then without going into too much detail, it's difficult. You've got that tracking and that having set sessions, and it actually made her worse, because not anything that we really did, because it's just the normal part of exercise and nutrition. You know, you're tracking your calories just to get a hold of what you're having, when you're having it, trying to give yourself a little bit more direction, and then you're doing your minimum amount of sessions and dedicating that to looking a certain way, reaching your goals, and then it made hers worse. Yeah. And we just have to be very aware of that and flag it up. So yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, training, I don't know where I'd be right now, to be fair, if it wasn't for the training. I mean, I come in on a Monday morning. I don't train very much at a weekend. I come in on a Monday morning and sometimes feel like a ball of anxiety. Mm-hmm. The minute I've trained, it's all good again.
Amazing.
So it's using that, but without, we stay in our lane.
Mm.
I think it's really important you mentioned that as well. And coming back to the question, you know, how is it different to coaching men from women? I think that's a big thing. A lot of the girls that I've coached, they have had apprehension around being too into the tracking and too on it with that kind of stuff, because it has triggered certain things in them where they're like, I can feel myself getting a bit pent up and obsessed.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I'm becoming
exactly
like quite obsessive with this. And I tend to find that more so in women, I would say, than I do in men. And again, it's just something you have to manage and deal. And let's not beat around the bush. Tracking isn't the only way to get in shape.
No,
it definitely helps. It's a fantastic tool, but it isn't the only way. There's always,
absolutely,
I think,
we do
in your toolbox.
We do find a lot of our girls that they'll, you know, you've got, for us, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. But if you track for a certain amount of time and learn a little bit, we find a lot of our women then go on to intuitive eating. Yeah. They focus on the protein, they focus on the movement, and it works. And you can just see them become happy, balanced, settled, confident human beings, which is just incredible.
You don't have to track forever, do you?
Nah, I'm not tracked for years. No, absolutely not.
Amazing. I come across an analogy the other day, which was like, some people are cooks and some people are bakers. So like when somebody...
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you come across this one before, where some people, like, if you were trying to make cookies, for example, you can't just chop some stuff up and put it in there. Like, you need certain measurements.
Absolutely.
And that's absolutely bang on, probably what you girls do in your nutrition centre now. And then when you can eventually transition to say, right, you don't have to be a baker anymore.
Absolutely.
You don't need to know specifics. You can become a cook now.
Yeah.
And just throw stuff in a pan. You've got your intuition.
You
roughly know what it's going to be. And you girls sound like you do that really well, which I'm chuffed with.
I know, obviously, it's the Fit Dads podcast. We have a lot of parents who watch this, and I know there's a lot of people watching this and listening to this who maybe haven't trained for quite a long time, whether it is post kids, they've gone down a bit of a rabbit hole of, you know, getting themselves out of shape, bad habits. I guess number one, is it ever too late to get back into shape and start this process of, you know, finding yourself and being confident in your body? And then what advice would you give to them to kind of make those first moves towards that, if so?
Well, it's never too late. Well, I just think the one thing that you can't buy, and that's your health. And I think whenever you've got your health and you can do that, never too late.
I think you're a great, you know, role model for that, of course. You know, you're only getting trained at like 40, you said. And, you know, I'm sure your body's changed and transformed as a result. But I guarantee there's so many women at 40 now thinking, oh, those days are behind me. Like, I'll never be able to get into it.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I would encourage anybody at any age. When our oldest member was 68.
Yeah. I'm not trained.
And never trained.
I've never trained.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we just adapted. But yeah, I think what I would encourage people to do is, I mean, like I said, I don't know where I'd have been right now if it wasn't for training. It's just, you need to take that first step and just walk through the door, you know, and come and meet us and give it a go. We can adapt anything. The classes are, when we say they're actually for anybody, they're actually for anybody. You know, we will we will look after you, we will take care, we will make sure that you feel comfortable. We have the odd person who'll come in and we'll say, right, walk on the treadmill while class is going on. And at any point, if you want to join in, join in. You know, just feel comfortable. And I probably think 99% of people who walk through the door have stayed.
Amazing.
Which is just incredible for us.
Through things they feel comfortable with initially.
Absolutely.
And then filter it into other things.
Yeah.
For sure.
I do think generalised as well, if you're not comfortable coming to groups, that's what coaches are for. If you're nervous, that's your perfect opportunity. And I mean, we all know sometimes it's expensive for a lot of people, but I would say even if you've just got in your mind, I'm going to do 8 weeks.
Absolutely.
And get myself a little bit of a plan and have a walk through that plan each week, that's your stepping door, and that's going to build your confidence. I'd get a coach if you're really nervous.
That's when our challenges come into play, I think. You know, we do the 12-week challenges that are always oversubscribed because people can do that. They can cope with thinking, I can do this for 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And then they see the results that they get from that and just how they feel, you know, which is just... We do care about bodies, obviously we've got to be strong and healthy, but if we can win somebody's head over that, you know, and get them in here and buying into it, and then we go from there. And again, the people who conversion ratio from people doing the challenges who stay is really, really high.
Brilliant. Amazing.
It's that getting 3 sessions. 2, we've done 2 and we've done 3 as part of challenges. And because we always say a minimum of 2-3 sessions a week is going to see you get good results and maintain them as well. So that's the big message that we try and push. Yeah. And that is particularly why we've done our memberships the way we have, and people always question it, why didn't you just do unlimited classes? And the reason for is when you're paying for a class, you go to that class. So it's not unlimited. So people aren't thinking, I can do as many as I want. So 1 week I'm going to do 5 and next week I'm going to do none. They get them 2-3 sessions a week. So they are going because they've paid for 2-3 sessions a week. And it's actually made a lot of the women now commit to the 2-3 sessions, and they're now in a perfect routine.
Yeah, they are.
And it's now habitual to them.
I think it's an interesting insight, actually. Yeah, I can see exactly why that would work, because when you leave the door open, say we've got classes at these times, anytime you want, come in.
Yeah.
There's no commitment from them there. Whereas if you've got that schedule laid out for them,
they have to book on, and once they book, they come.
Yeah.
And you know, if they don't, because how we are, we know if people haven't been for a couple of weeks, they get a message, they get a call, where are you? What's happening?
Amazing.
Or if they haven't been and they come in, we go, we haven't seen you in ages. Where have you been? And it's like a little bit of a guilt trip. And they'll be like, oh God,
right,
I've had me 2 weeks, I'm coming back.
I think the cool thing is that you girls are very future focused with your clients in terms of business and that sort of stuff. Future ambitions maybe for Redefine. Have you got next stages, anything that you'd want to maybe do in the future?
Let's just say we're oversubscribed here at the moment, so maybe the space is a little bit small, and there is a plan for phase 3.
Cool. What a problem to have.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Amazing.
One final question. So just coming back to, again, like taking people through the full cycle, what was the best advice you would give to someone to go from, you know, a petrified lady in the gym who is missing all the weights and going straight to the cardio to being, you know, a certified gym bunny? I can't believe it says gym bunny. Gym bunny.
I'm going to cut that, Brian.
What are the steps along that process you would go?
I think, again, it's all really individual. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've had people who trained for a long time and they've come and joined the gym only, but then they've seen the fun we have in here and they go from like, no, I don't need to do class. I know what I'm doing. 3 months later, they've signed up for 3 classes a week. You know, but then we've also had the other way around again, where people have come, they found the confidence here, then they've gone in there. So I don't think there's a one size fits all for anything. But
I think the message there is maybe that community matters. Get yourself in the community.
100%, yeah. The hot weather's been obviously terrible for people, and we put a post out there, and I was very keen to see how many women had actually trained in that time. Our girls carried on training because it's what they do. They committed, they booked it. They can't do without it. They miss their friends if they don't come. Yeah. You know, so I think it's just getting it into a routine. I think I would want to instill in any woman just to make it part of your life. You deserve that time. It's you time. Interestingly, from you guys, we found as well, just something we want to speak to you about. how many classes have you ever seen where dads can take the kids?
It's interesting actually because Station's just started one, hasn't it?
Really?
Yeah, Station's just started kids and parents. Yeah, they call it the family class, don't they?
But what about just kids and dads?
Just kids and dads.
Have you seen any?
No, not at all. No, I'm not actually.
And how many kids and mums are there? So why should it be kids and mums?
Yeah.
That's a good point. It's like you're opening up a venture for us now.
Because, well, you know what? Do you know? Because I mean,
sure.
a lot. The reason we've got that door on there with a lock on it is because another barrier to training was mums not being able to get to train. So you can come in here 24/7.
Wow.
So if you have to come here at 4:30 in the morning, not ideal before dad goes to work, then you can do that. Why we put the class on the times we did. But yeah, we're very much like, you know what? Mums need their own time as well. A reason why we stopped doing the mum and baby classes was because the uptake was more the fact that they want to leave the kids behind and come and train. Yeah. They don't want to be saddled with the kids all the time, as much as you love the kids. So that was very much 100%. Yeah. So
again, phenomenal point that, because all the mums that I coach come to me and they say, whether I'm feeling great or not, I'm here because it's time away. And they'll do that and they'll go and train and they'll use that hour to be productive. But actually, on the side of it, it is an hour away from the kids, because the mums generally, especially in a relationship, the mum is the person who looks after the kid most of the time.
Absolutely.
And that's so much more important, to have some you time and work on you and not feel like your whole life revolves around your kids, because you love them to bits, but it has to be more than that, for sure. You can lose yourself in your kids if you're not careful.
And we do encourage our mums to, like, there's your schedule, diary that slot for you. That is your time. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that was
It's a great point, that. Yeah, love that.
I think something else that we've had come up a lot as well about starting is we've had a lot of girls that aren't confident, are dreading it, but go to, I'm not going to name any gyms, but cheaper gyms that obviously offer a really low monthly membership. They go, they absolutely hate it. They will only go on cardio. In fact, we had a lady that said she drives to it, sits outside, decides she didn't go in, so goes round TK Maxx like 3 times a week, but she's got the childcare. Yeah. So she wants. So I think invest, even if you're a bit reluctant to, invest a little bit more in yourself. And yeah, it's a bit more money, but you're going to come into a place that you do feel comfortable and confident in. And it's like, what's the saying when you like
20 quid gym membership, but I spend 300 in TK Maxx.
Yeah, like
everyone's weird.
So it literally be the key that unlocks the door sometimes. And then once that door's unlocked and you're bursting through it, again, world's your oyster in terms of where you want to go with your training and your physique.
Absolutely.
But I think, same thing, it's great to see what you've reiterated there, where you get someone who's very nervous, doesn't like the gym, spends more time in TK Maxx, essentially, in the actual gym. And then you see them flourish. They come to your sessions. They are more confident. They're then not afraid. They're actually, finding more times to get childcare because they're still in the gym, and suddenly it's a huge passion of theirs. And to see them thriving like that, I think is such a nice thing as a coach. And if they do end up leaving you, so be it. And if
absolutely,
it's job well done.
We could say we've got a bit of an issue because we're all going to Nevis, like I said, to do that. And we've got 5 classes that aren't covered because all the coaches are going. And we actually said some of our members now, if they were level 2 qualified, we would trust some of our group session members to take our classes. That's how far they've come. And some of these didn't even come into a gym up until 2 years ago. So that for us is so powerful. And, it's amazing.
Yeah, I bet if you ask those girls, would they feel confident doing it? Well, they might be in 2 minds. They might say, well, I'm not sure. I've never coached a class. But if you gave them the reins and let them run with it, absolutely. I bet you'd be surprised at how well they do.
We'd make them do it and they get used to it.
Yeah. There we go. Which, look, girls, we've really enjoyed having you on. I think it's amazing to get first, double guests on, and two mums who are really inspiring like you too.
Yeah. So 2 people who understand women really well. I think our audience are going to get a lot from it, especially the mums and the girls and things like that, for sure.
But I think for anyone who's watching, listening, who maybe wants to pay Redefine a visit, or they want to keep up to date with developments, where can they find you?
So follow us on Instagram, Redefine Body and Mind. If you can drop us a message on there, the email address is there. But like I said, we'll always pick every message up.
Awesome.
Or just walk in. I mean, we're not it's a 24/7 gym. It's not always manned, but just keep calling in and you'll catch us.
So, address-wise, and it's S20 area, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's Station Road between the BP garage and the hand car wash. Station Road, S23.
Yes.
Well,
Brilliant.
amazing.
Girls, thank you so much today. Really appreciate you agreeing to do this, and thank you for letting us pick your brains.
Appreciate it.
Thank
you.
you.
Take care. Thank you.
Guys, thanks for joining us on the Fit Dads podcast. See you next one.
See you soon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
really
that.
good.
Right,
Yeah, amazing.
Enjoyed that?
I did enjoy it.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't as bad.